Notice to the public, if you wish to address the council, please complete the public wish and address council form located on either end of the counter and give it to either the council chairman or actually the council clerk prior to the beginning of the meeting. All public comment must be addressed to the council as a whole. Addressing individual council members or the staff is not allowed. Speakers should be courteous in their choice of words or actions, and comments should be limited to the issue and cannot involve individuals or staff-related matters. All cell phones and electronic devices used for communication should be silenced for the duration of the meeting. I'd like to call the meeting of the Terrebonne Parish Council Wednesday, November 16th to order. Mr. Amity, could you please lead us in a prayer followed by a pledge?
Heavenly Father, we come before you with thanksgiving and grace, Lord. We ask that your grace would be upon the parish, all the citizens of this parish. We ask that your favor and blessings would fall upon them with this holiday season coming upon, Lord. We also ask that you would guide us through this meeting, Lord, so that the actions we take would be good for the parish, Lord, and bring glory to your name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Becknell, roll call, please.
Mr. Darren Guidry.
Here.
Mr. Babin.
Here.
Mr. Dirk Guidry.
Here.
Mr. Trosclair.
Here.
Mr. Harding.
Here.
Mr. Michaud.
Here.
Mr. Amity.
Here.
Ms. Domingue.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum present.
Thank you very much. Approved minutes of the regular council session held on October 12th, 2022. Move Mr. John Amity, seconded Mr. Steve Trosclair. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Approve the minutes of the special council session condemnation hearings held on October 24th, 2022. Move Ms. Jessica Domingue, seconded by Mr. Harding. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Distribute minutes of the regular council session held on October 26, 2022, which we've done. Approve accounts payable bill list for October 31st, 2022, November 7th, 2022, and November 14th, 2022. Moved by Councilman Dirk Guidry, seconded by Councilman Harding. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Payable lists are approved. General business. Commendation commending the Bayou Area Habitat for Humanity for its generous donation of land to Recreation District 3A to provide for a new community center in the Village East area. Mr. Steve Trosclair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It gives me great honor to read this commendation, one of the many, but probably one of the final projects the former Councilman Dr. John Navy has brought before this council and the parish, and one of the many great things he's done for this parish. So here we go. It reads, whereas the Bayou Area Habitat for Humanity is an organization dedicated to the mission of building homes, communities, and hope. And whereas a donation by the Bayou Area Habitat for Humanity through the leadership of Executive Director Mr. Edwin F. Charles III and his Board of Directors to the Terrebonne Parish Recreation District Number 3A will provide land necessary for the construction of a Village East Community Center to be named the Bayou Area Habitat for Humanity Village East Community Center in honor of the organization that made its construction possible. And whereas the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government under Parish President Gordon E. Dove and the Parish Council has also committed funding to construct this center to provide critical services towards improving the quality of life for its citizens in the Village East and surrounding communities. And whereas Councilman Dr. John Navy has coordinated efforts to provide this center for the Village East Community Center with the intention that it be utilized to provide many services to the local area, including offering social programs for senior citizens, offering after-school programs for children, and operating as a voting precinct. And whereas the Bayou Area Habitat for Humanity is to be recognized for its generosity and its conviction towards assisting the building of community as per its mission. Now therefore be resolved by the Terrebonne Parish Council on behalf of the Parish President and the entire Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government that the Bayou Area Habitat for Humanity be commended for a generous donation and for its ongoing dedication to providing for a greater quality of life for residents of Terrebonne Parish. And this is presented on the 16th day of November, 2022. It's signed by Parish President Gordon E. Dove, Council Chairman Darren Guidry, and it's endorsed by the entire Council. Is there anyone, Mr. Edwin Charles, and anybody from Humanity want to come up and accept this commendation? Mr. Navy, you're welcome too.
Steve, if you don't mind, can we get Barco Social Services and also Rec 3A to come up to and take a picture? These are organizations.
Yes, whoever wants to be in the photograph is welcome. Whoever's been associated with this project, please come up and we'll take a photograph. And just go ahead and say your name and address for the record, if you don't mind.
My name is Edwin Charles III. I am the Executive Director for Bayou Area Habitat for Humanity of Lafourche and Terrebonne Parish.
Go ahead, Mr. Charles.
Good evening to all. I hadn't actually planned to speak too long, but there's just one thing I'd like everyone to know and understand. I've had the opportunity to present this to our board of directors. It took me 5 minutes to convince them that what this would do for the Village East area would be very, very well done for the community and for Terrebonne Parish. Excuse my voice, I've been talking all day. But to give you an idea of the things that I have seen in my lifetime is unbelievable in some instances. I'm from Lafourche Parish, partially off of a plantation, and through my lifetime growing up, I had some troubles. I didn't know which direction I was going. But as I got into high school, still was confused. I had the opportunity to go to college. First time, went into the military, 8 years. Came back home, went back to college, Nichols. Then I went to work at the same time, working 7 and 7, offshore, coming back home. My wife and I would pass each other at the door. She was working teaching school. I was working offshore. My days off, I'd be at class all day. And she would go back to school at night to get her master's. A little while later on, as I was working for ExxonMobil, they asked me to go overseas. I spent 15 years outside the country, and I saw some things that you all may have seen on TV. The little children walking with the bucket on their head for miles and miles, not spilling a drop. People walking around with no clothes, no shoes. Some taking a bath upstream in the creek. Some defecating in the stream a little bit farther down. You know what was happening? People was taking their clothes, the ones that had clothes, laying them in the grass. They had all types of diseases. Ladies walking with wood on their head, as you've seen on TV, for miles and miles just to have firewood. I'm saying all of this to say that that community center, when it was brought to my attention by Mr. Derek Dark, I had a wild dream of what it could do for this community. And I hope it gives the younger people, the drive that I had, the self-reliance that I had. And I'm not just talking about myself. I'm talking about a lot of other people who have that. Continue to have them to get education. Continue to get them to understand that the streets is not the way of life. Guns kill. Guns kill. And I'm going to say this, and it might sound funny to you. I've killed a lot of people. A lot of people. Because of what I did in the military. I was a crew chief on the KC-135. I refueled airplanes, B-52s, fighters. I can look down, and if you can imagine a whole box of matches going off at one time, seeing that fire, and then 5-10 seconds later, if you can hit yourself in the chest like King Kong did, that's what it sounds like. But if everybody in this room, in the sound of my voice, can take a child, even call me, I would take one, and try to guide them along, help them through their daily lives. I hope and pray that this community center becomes a catalyst for a good life. Thank you all.
Thank you. And I know this is something that Councilman Navy has been working on, because this is something that we've been working on at least since I took off, and you were probably working on it before then. So.
Yes, and I can tell you, first of all, I want to thank Mr. Johnson for donating 7 lots, by the way. He didn't have to do that, and thank you for serving our country, too. For now, he's serving in a different capacity with a humanitarian organization, and I can tell you that for the last 7 months, it was a challenge trying to get this thing completed. We met some obstacles that we didn't envision. Jules Hebert was working for months trying to get these residents to sign, because there was some negativity about what the purpose of the center is going to be. And that's why I have Gulf Coast Social Services and Rec 3A to explain some of the situations as far as what we're going to do with the services. That's why I was in the proclamation that we want to do model after the same facility that we have in McCannville, doing elderly service after school, and now we can actually use it as a voting precinct, because right now in that district, they're voting at the Village East School because of the fire station situation. But I guess what I'm so passionate about is the fact that nobody gave up on this proposal that I presented in front of the parish. Nobody, not even the council. Not one time did anyone say, let's not do this, let's not fund this. The administration said, let's do it. The community said, let's do it. The Recreation Board said, let's do it. Jules spent, I can tell you, countless time, and I tell you, I'm not kind of toot his horn, but he didn't have to do that. He spent countless time just calling people, trying to get, information. We couldn't do it. We went back to Bayet Habitat for Humanity. Mr. Charles was at that meeting with us, with Merlin Lee Rett, myself, and Jules. And he said, it's done, don't worry about it. We're gonna get these lots, the other lots that you need. And he donated 7 lots to this community for a community center. He don't need just approximation, because he's already blessed. When I tell you we met obstacles with this, we met obstacles with this. And it was just frustrating for me to try to get this accomplished. But I'm glad that this council supported me, administration supported me. I'm glad Jules Hebert supported me with this. And Jules would constantly call me and tell me, John, we got to go to the next level, whatever. We did everything humanly possible we could do to make this happen. Call Rec 3A. They were trying to do everything they can to make sure we get those lots. So I'm here to just to give my testimony to show that when we work together, we can get things accomplished. Because the author of confusion is going to come, and everybody knows who the author of confusion is. He's going to come all the time. But we could make these challenges, and we defeat those challenges. So I appreciate you all for supporting me with this. I had to come to this council and personally also thank you along with these organizations that are donating and spending their time. But I'll give them the opportunity to say a few things about what they're going to do and the reason why we wanted this accomplished in this community. But again, Council, thank you all. I had a pleasure for the last 11 years serving with some of you all. Dirk, you're going to be going next, retirement next. I hope you have some success in your future endeavors also. And I will definitely miss you all, fighting some of y'all in a good way. And Jessica, be strong as a female up there, okay? Thank you all. I would like the organization to come and just say some things, if you all mind, at the council. Give me that pleasure.
Can you say something before John leaves?
Okay, hold on. Let me get to the council first, and then we'll let y'all say some things. Go ahead, Ms. Domingue.
Don't leave.
Yeah, don't-
It's nice to see you over there.
Okay, thank you. I'm excited.
Look, I miss you already, John. You know you've got a special place in my heart. And this isn't about this. Your day's coming, and we're gonna hopefully get that day soon where we can really roast you. But I just want to thank you for everything that you've done, and where recreation and childhood trauma is in my heart, and we've had those conversations. And the reason I've been so passionate about recreation is because recreation heals trauma, and we have so much trauma in this parish, and not just childhood trauma, but adult trauma across the board. And so whether it's recreation for little bitty ones or recreation for 85-year-olds, it's going to be healing. And so I absolutely appreciate you doing this, and appreciate you always supporting everything that I did. And just know I had a bit of a bump in the road, but I'm not giving up on healing the trauma in this parish. And so this is a great first step. And so thank you, John. And like I said, you got some big shoes to fill. I know we've got a big task to be able to do that. Like I said, I miss you already, and you're always welcome in this council.
Appreciate that.
Mr. Michel.
Well, I want to thank you for your public service, but also it took me a while to convince myself that the timing of your resignation wasn't because you heard I was coming back. So anyway, but I do appreciate you, and I wish you the best.
No, Joe, look, and I'm glad to see you here too. I haven't seen you in a while, but you've always been one of my favorites now. Don't tell nobody that, okay?
Mr. Harding.
Actually, I'll wait till after some of the presentation because I have something to say in reference to
Okay. And again, Mr. Navy, it's been a pleasure serving with you, and I know you're not going away. So we'll be working, we'll continue to work together and do what we can, but I appreciate the service, and I know the community that you serve.
Oh, I'll be at the podium again.
Thank you, Mr. Navy. If just state your name and address for the record, if you don't mind.
Randy LeBuff Jr., 110 Glen Hill Drive, Lafayette Woods subdivision, and chairman of Rec 3A. So here we are. Been waiting a long time for this, as Mr. Navy said. Thank the council, Mr. Hebert and his law firm, everybody that had their hands in it, so this is good stuff. Like you said, improving the quality of life. And I don't think it could have happened to a better group of people, because all the board members that were on the board when I started, they're no longer here. So I think there's a new regime coming, and things are, we're about to touch some lives and improve the quality of life. So we couldn't be more happy for it, because in our district we have the ballpark, the staple of the ballpark at Lafayette Woods. There's only one little bitty park in Village East, and it's tucked away in the back. Most people don't know about it. They park school buses in front of it, so you really can't see it. So this being out in the open, I think it's going to drive a lot of bad out and get some good in. So, like I said, thank y'all. We're deeply embedded with the school system, with our board members. It's Claudette, 30-something years driving school buses. Derek, he's at Ellender. And Miss Sherry Stadium, she's still at work right now. She would be here, but she's got to handle business. So anyways, anybody got any questions?
Hold on a second, Randy. Go ahead, Mr. Trosclair.
Yeah, Randy. Dr. Navy didn't allude to it, But you made the comment just a second ago that, it's a whole new board. But when Mr. Navy, back then he was Mr. Navy, today's Dr. Navy. But
Right.
when Dr. Navy first started this program, because he and I share District 3A, and when we actually met with the board, the previous board, and presented it to them, and they were totally against it because they didn't want to have to deal with it. And
That we get that.
So-
we get that during ball season. you
Yeah,
know.
they
That's the
didn't-
only thing they want to do, or used to want to do.
they
didn't wanna have
they
tournaments.
found
It's
100
more work,
reasons.
so-
They had 100 reasons for not being able to do it financially. They just different things. But kudos to Mr. Navy for not giving up. He kept pushing, and here we are today. So thanks a lot, and I know y'all gonna do a good job with it, just like y'all do with the ball fields and the park. Y'all do a great job with that, with those facilities. They're basically second to none in the parish. So, and what a lot of people don't realize, District 3A is actually collects the least amount of tax millage than any other rec district in the parish. So y'all do well with your money, and y'all spend it wisely and take care of what you got. So keep up the good work. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Steve.
Yes, and from the chair, thank you for your service. Thank you for what you guys do. Again, it's you guys are running a small district, but what you do is important to the people you serve, and so I appreciate you stepping up, all you guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing that community center for the community.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. LaBeouf.
Anybody
Anybody else would like to make any comments? Go ahead and state your name and address, Mr. Dark.
Hello, good evening. My name is Derek Darth. I reside in the Village East community. First of all, I want to just thank you all for getting this pushed through, because this means a lot. I'm 33 years old, born and raised in Village East. The success stories that come from back out of Village East is something that's like not heard. There's really great people that comes from the community, and we need more of that. And I think this community center will be a good place to where we can plant some of those seeds and see the trees grow. I also teach at Eleanor, so I get to see those kids at a point in life to where things like this can become very important, because they're trying to find out who themselves are, or who they want to be, or who they're trying to be like. We all been in high school, so we've been there. So this thing would be very, very essential to the community, and building just a better community, a better east side of Homer. And just me being back there and not having it, good thing I was able to be blessed with the ability to find out how to do things, and just not be afraid to go out and try things. So, but now with this being in place and the things that I've learned, I just want to be able just to pass it down to the kids, so we can have another person like me that could come up here and speak and say thank you for another project that's going to be coming in the future. So I appreciate you all, appreciate the whole community, and this is just a start. So appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Dark.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nicole Wesley Brown. I'm the regional, my address is 103 Terrio Lane, Thibodaux, Louisiana. I am the Regional Director of Gulf Coast Social Services, and for the last 5 years, I've had the privilege of working directly with Dr. Navy with creating several programs in the Mechanicville Community Center as it was being birthed, and the programs that birthed from his vision that we now support on a daily basis. In the mornings from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., we have the Homer Senior Center. And there, the residents of Terrebonne Parish who are 60 years and older can come, and we provide them breakfast, we provide them a lunch, and we provide recreational, social, and educational development for them. A current project we're working on in partnership with the Parish Council and the Parish Government, who helps us fund this program. We recently purchased laptops for them to teach the seniors how to use laptops, how to type. We have seniors who did not remember how to hold pencils and write their names. We've since have them writing and reading and bowling, and they do exercises every morning to develop physical abilities again. We also take them out on social outings. In the afternoon, we have from 3 to 7 p.m., we offer the tutoring program. It's youth mentoring and tutoring with a structured curriculum, but also includes the tutoring to help with schoolwork. And then after we finish with their schoolwork, we mentor them one by one, just addressing any ideas that may be on their mind. Like Council Domain mentioned the trauma, so we help them with that. We encourage them for counseling, and we incorporate the families. It's just not the children, it's the families, the parents. We welcome, and we have recreational activities that invite the whole visitors to come and participate to encourage the kids as well. So our heart as well as an agency, mine personally, but Gulf Coast as an agency, social service agency, we intend to participate with the council and anyone else that would like us to develop and add back to this community. I am a full advocate. I worked for 10 years at Casa of Terrebonne as a child advocate for kids in foster care, now for 5 years with Gulf Coast Social Services. So well-versed in the needs of Terrebonne Parish and the needs of families and children and the seniors as well. I did bring some flyers for both programs to leave with the council in case anyone would like to continue spreading the word so we can. And what we would like to do is we would love to be partners with the New Villages Community Center, and that we could provide these same services in their facility as well to continue to build that community, that part of our parish too. Thank you all for your support of this program.
Thank you. Mr. Hardy?
Yes, Ms. Brown.
Yes.
Don't go on. With the program that you have at Mechanicville
Yes,
on Percy Gabriel Lane.
It's on the front, Senator Street.
Yeah, okay. What's the oldest member?
She's 100, and she just had her 102nd birthday. Okay. We had a birthday party for her.
Yeah, had a birthday
she danced
party.
The whole party.
Okay. And basically, the representations that the people that attend there is basically from the Mechanicville area or other areas also? It
started with just Mechanicville Senator Circle. I would say the majority is that community, the majority.
And you have about how many people that attend there?
We started 5 years ago with 10. We average 45 a day.
Wow. 45 a day. And you mentioned bowling, and I actually went there one time, and they were having tea parties. And I say this to not you because I know it's in your heart. I say to those that are out there and those that may be unfortunate enough not to have attended that area, to have those ladies in their 60s, as 80s and 90s and the 100s that never would have sat down and said they were at a tea party. And I saw how they had their little hats and their little flowers, and I must be kind of biased with this part because my mother, who is 88, she attends, but she lives on the west side of town. And she travels over there. And she gets up to go to that center like she's going to church on Sunday morning, as early as she can, very religiously. And I look at and I understand Mr. Dart, how he spoke of the area that he grew up in. And I sat here and I realized that the last time I sat here, at the time that I was first sat here at the 5:30 committee meeting, that was someone that ended up so misfortunate in life that they lost their life. And we look at our communities and we speak of qualities of life, and some say yay, some say nay. We spend a lot of money on parks and playgrounds and this, that, and the other. But the true quality of life seems to be to those that are in need of it. Some have more abundance of life than others in their assumption. But realistically, the areas that you and the services that you've provided thus far are second to none.
Thank you.
And I think this program in Village East would help the numbers to go down. If someone lives somewhere else and say, well, why are they doing this and why are they not doing this and why are they not doing this and why is this happening? It may be they need a facility like that, and maybe someone like Ms. Doman or Dr. Navy, the programs you are implementing there, and from the support that we have here, in pockets that normally wouldn't actually receive such attention. And I'm going to my corner where I'm going to stop at, because I've actually spoke in reference to 2 other areas that may be coming up that is in need of this same type of facility, and tried to work on some programs in some areas. And I hope that with Mechanicville and with this particular facility that would be in the Village East area, when it comes time for me to implement what I ask you to assist me with,
Definitely.
it wouldn't be any opposition. The cost is not, to me, it doesn't really matter. As long as it's efficient and it doesn't harm anyone else. But I think the services that you provide through Gulf Coast and South Central Louisiana, and I know you got about 7 parishes, and your passion is the seniors. So we're looking for, bottom line, for services in Gibson and Gray, where we can actually assist these areas where it's much needed as an outlet. And I thank you so much for your services.
Thank you.
But I need to speak to Dr. Navy right now.
He's the guru.
Mr. Navy, could you come front and center, please?
Dr. Navy, I think you're being paged.
Man, these are old knees here, man.
I tell you what, man, it's been good, bad, up and down, and stuff like that. I know Jerry hit you one way, and a couple other people hit you another way, but I tell you, before anybody else, I don't think they say congratulations, because sometimes when we retire and go into something else, we want to go backwards. But then, man, I appreciate all the things that you've actually done, helped me out with, and what you've done for your district, what you've done for your community. And oftentimes, I tell people as we go, 35% of the people are not going to like us, automatic. So you maintain that 65% favorability, hold your head up, regardless of what that is. Someone can say about you, you are Dr. John Navy. And I tip my supposed hat off to you for the good work that you have done, not only for your community, but for Terrebonne Parish. And I appreciate everything you've done. Congratulations, and hope you enjoy your future endeavors.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate y'all.
Mr. Guidry.
Yeah, John, I'd just like to tell you, man, congratulations on your retirement from the school board and the council, and good luck with all your future endeavors. We've been up here a while, almost 11 years, me and you've been here together, so.
Too long, Dirk.
We've been up and down, but you know, you've done a lot for your community. You've done a lot, you know what I mean? All the way from, remember when we went to Mechanicville Gym and it was deplorable and you got it back in shape? You wanted to build a community center. We got it done, you know. Me and Danny went to your meetings with you and we got that done. So, you know, be proud of what you did, man.
Well, Dirk, you know, one of the things that I cherish, something that you and I done, was definitely a splash park. That's a testimony that people enjoy that splash park. And I'll never forget when I came to you and said, Dirk, I got this money extra that we had and I couldn't do anything with it in my district. He said, let's just do the splash park. And that was the beauty right there. And I just want to say one thing, too. I can't leave Steve Truscott as a picture on something. Something that is very dear and close to me as a council member, I always remember. Idle's about to hit. okay? And I was at the house. I couldn't leave. Me and my wife couldn't leave. Steve called me and said, John, man, you got to get out. I said, man, I can't afford that right now, Steve. This man tells me this, man, look, you need some money, John, come get it. You know, come get the money. I said, no, I'm good, I'm gonna stay. He said, John, come get the money, you can't stay. I said, nah, Steve, I got to go, bro. I can't, you know, let me just be at peace, bro, let me go. Got off the phone with him, but I'll never forget that, man, that's one of the highlights of my moment, that you cared enough for me to say, yeah, if you need some money to get out of this parish during the storm, I'm gonna get that to you. And I appreciate that, man. I never forget that, my brother. Never. But thank you, Council. I appreciate you all. I'll be up there.
All right, moving along. Go ahead, Randy. Quickly, please.
I want to thank the voters in our district for passing this millage. I forgot that earlier. We tied the first time. Thank y'all for coming out the second time and giving us some yays, all right? We appreciate y'all. See you next time.
Thank you. And Mr. Toops told me before the meeting he has no presentation, but item B is presentation by parish administration relative to capital projects, including drainage, utility, road, and quality of life projects, as well as other matters relative to operations and maintenance of parish government. We have a motion by Mr. Dirk Guidry to go into 6:30 public hearing, seconded by Mr. Harding. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We are now in 6:30 public hearing. A is an ordinance to acquire in full ownership the following properties adjudicated to Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for public purpose. Parcel number 36938 with owner of record Eddie Diggs to address other matters relative thereto. Public once, public twice, third time public. Motion to close, Mr. Gerald Michel, seconded Mr. Harding. All in favor say aye. Motion to adopt, Mr. Michel, seconded Mr. Harding. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item B is an ordinance to acquire in full ownership the following property as adjudicated to the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for public purpose. It includes parcel number 41866 with municipal address of 141 Shirley Street with owner of record being Lloyd Advertising or Lloyd Outdoor Advertising, and to address other matters relative thereto. Public once, public twice, third time public. Motion to close, Mr. Harding. Second, Mr. Dirk Guidry. All in favor say aye. Motion to adopt, Mr. Harding. Second, Mr. Dirk Guidry. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item C, the proposed 2023 parish budget and 5-year capital outlay budget. Continuing the public hearing to November 30th, 2022's meeting. Motion to continue, public once, public twice, third time public. We have a motion to continue a public hearing by Mr. Danny Babin, seconded by Mr. Gerald Michel. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Public hearing is continued. Motion to go back in regular order by Mr. Michel, seconded Mr. Harding. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? 2, public wishing to address the council. Ms. Talisa Clark wishes to address the council relative to the Kevin Clark Hope Foundation.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Talisa Clark, address 134 Morrison Avenue, Houma, Louisiana. I come before you again. I was kind of emotional seeing my good friend, Mr. Navy, depart this seat. So forgive me. Yeah, we've had some great times working together. I come to you on behalf of my now late husband, Kevin Clark. I lost my husband to cancer, and we live here down south. There's not a whole lot of things that aid and assist cancer patients. Through the struggles of my husband's illness, and especially as it came close to losing him to this life on this side of earth, we endured a lot. Tragedies, things that we didn't foresee coming. I want to now establish the Kevin Clark Hope Foundation in honor of the light of my husband. I had 41 great years with him. You don't see too many people that can say that, for number one. My husband was my life. So with his life, I want to aid and assist other cancer patients and their families. When your loved one is dealing with cancer or any other terminal illness, the last thing they should be faced with is being homeless. Yes, I fell homeless after staying 3 weeks at MD Anderson with my husband in a pandemic. I came back to our great parish to be faced with a rent increase in a pandemic. That whereas there was 2 incomes in the household, there was just 1. 15 days after coming back, we lost a place to stay. It is my desire in the life of my husband that no one else have to endure what we did. He was a strong man, but because we were uprooted wrongfully, he cried. He could no longer assist his family. And what was I to do but vacate the premises? 15 days after vacating, my husband closed his eyes to this side of the world. His cancer had taken him over. He left me the day before my birthday. August the 7th of 2020 was the worst day of my life. Having to face my birthday the next day. My birthday will never be the same. But if I can get the blessings of this great council this afternoon, in light of my husband's life, I want to give someone else hope. I want someone to know that in your time of struggles, when you think it's all over, you think that it's a hopeless endeavor. No, someone cares. There's no hopeless errors in this parish, in our hearts. We need to let someone know, no matter what their walk is in this life, that there is hope. And in honor of my husband, today I stand before you for your blessings. I have some very fine people that found me through the grace of God during the storm when after Hurricane Ida. I'm also an activist in the community. They were looking to help our families here in this fine parish of Terrebonne to aid and assist with housing. I have brochures for everyone to be able to look at. Mr. Jews, this one for you and the rest for the council. There may be minor fundraising that I would have to do to make sure I have all the proper resources for cancer patients and or their family. When I say resources, I mean like, I don't want anyone to have to worry about lights going off. I don't want anyone to worry about water going off. I want the proper people that's put in place to be able to sit in this foundation and aid and assist those families that's going through those tough times. Doug, and the stamp has been placed on by a very fine engineer, and you'll see the stamping on there. It has received everything else. But the Bible said do things decent and in order. This is why I'm here. I want the blessing of my constituents to be able to say, hey, we need this in this parish. Not 1, not 2. Let's take it wherever it needs to go. But this is why I'm before you.
Well, and I appreciate you coming, and we'll have this information. Of course, there's no action we can take today.
I understand. I understand.
But you have made us aware. It sounds like, what you're trying to put together here is a worthwhile endeavor, and I know you're going to find some support for this. And I would also be willing to sit down with you if you want to contact me outside of a meeting so we can do some of the nuts and bolts. And so that way, if there's action that the council needs to take, then we'll know exactly where we need to go.
I appreciate that.
Thank you so much for coming.
Well, not quite yet, Mr.
Oh.
Guidry. Not quite yet. This is about my husband.
I understand,
I need to just
but
share this, and I'll take my seat. This is my husband. I'm gonna ask my daughter to come on. This is our baby girl to assist me. This is my king. This is my husband. And this is my ultimate goal. I will shed light on this, and I will bring it to pass. The future home of the Kevin Clark Hope Foundation.
hold it up a little higher.
Oh, no, you can't see my husband's face. Wait,
There you go.
right here.
And if you want to face it to the HTV camera, so that way HTV can see it as well.
This is my husband, Kevin Clark. And in light of his life, we will shed light throughout this parish and aid and assist other families.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Speaker cards, we have no speaker cards. Right, Ms. Triggs? I don't think we have any speaker cards. Okay. Moving along to committee reports. Public Service Committee, Mr. John Amity.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I make a motion that the council accept and ratify the minutes of the Public Services Committee held on November 14th, 2022, and I have one public hearing. It's to introduce an ordinance to authorize the acquisition of property by way of donation by quitclaim deed from Dixie Rice Agricultural LLC. Authorize the parish president to execute any and all documents necessary to acquire property by way of donation by quitclaim deed from Dixie Rice Agricultural LLC, and to provide for other matters relative thereto, and call a public hearing on Wednesday, November 30th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m.
Motion, Mr. Amity, seconded, Mr. Guidry. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Next is Community Development and Planning Committee. Ms. Domingue, are you going to do that for Mr. Trosclair?
Yes, sir. I'd like to make a motion that the council accept and ratify the minutes of the Community Development and Planning Committee held on November 14th, 2022, and I have two public hearings. One, introduce an ordinance to partially revoke ordinance number 5680 and dededicate an existing dedicated public servitude of passage for the paved street right-of-way of the Glen Oak subdivision located in section 102 T17S R17E, and call a public hearing on said matter on Wednesday, November 30th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. Number two, introduce an ordinance to authorize the acquisition from Boyd Mayett Properties, LLC, certain immovable property located at 6084 West Park Avenue, Houma, Louisiana 70364, and to provide for relative matters, and call a public hearing on Wednesday, November 30th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m.
Motion by Ms. Domingue, seconded Mr. Harding. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. The Policy, Procedure, and Legal Committee meeting, Ms. Domingue.
I'd like to make a motion that the council accept and ratify the minutes of the Policy, Procedure, and Legal Committee held on November 14th, 2022, and I have one public hearing. One, introduce an ordinance to adopt the Terrebonne Parish Recreation District Policy and Procedure Manual, and call a public hearing on Wednesday, November 30th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m.
Motion, Ms. Domingue, seconded Mr. Michel. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Next is the Budget and Finance Committee, Mr. Carl Harding.
Yes, sir. I'd like to make the motion to that the council accept and ratify the minutes of the Budget and Finance Committee meeting held November 14, 2022, and I have one public hearing. Introducing an ordinance to amend the parish compensation and classification plan for the Houma Fire Department, and call for a public hearing on Wednesday, November 30, 2022 at 6:30 p.m.
Motion, Mr. Harding. Seconded Mr. Michel. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Street lights, light installations, removals, and/or activations. We do have one. As per Mr. Michel, seconded Mr. Harding. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Item 5, appointments to various boards, committees, and commissions. The Municipal Civil Service Board, 2 expiring terms on November 29th, 2022, 1 representing the Houma Fire Department and 1 representing the Houma Police Department. Mr. Chris Ave has been nominated to represent the Houma Fire Department.
Open, close, and appointments
Motion to open, close, and appoint Mr. Ave and hold the second position over by Mr. Danny Babin, seconded Mr. Dirk Gidry. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. B, the Homa Area Convention and Visitors Bureau, 2 expiring terms on December 31st, 2022. Ms. Margie Scobie expresses her interest in being reappointed.
Open, close, and appoint, and hold the other over.
Motion to open, close, and appoint Ms. Scobie and hold the second one over by Mr. Babin, seconded Mr. Carl Harding. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item C, the Children and Youth Services Planning Board, 6 expiring terms, 3 on November 5th, 2022, and 3 on November 16th, 2022. Mr. Joseph Harris Jr., representing the Terrebonne Parish Juvenile Justice, expresses his interest in being reappointed.
Open, close, and reappoint Mr. Harris and hold the other 5 over.
Second.
Motion to open, close, and reappoint Mr. Harris and hold the other 5 positions over by Mr. Michel, seconded by Mr. Harding. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. 6, openings to various boards, committees, and commissions coming up. We have a Recreation District Number 1 board, 1 expiring term on December 3rd, 2022. Rec District 10 board, 1 expiring term on December 18th, 2022. And Recreation District Number 5 board, 1 expiring term on December 26th, 2022. The Children and Youth Services Board, of course, we have the 5 expiring terms remaining. 3 on 3, well, all of them are expired. The Terrebonne Parish Tree Board, 3 vacancies due to resignations. Downtown Development Corporation, we have 4 expiring terms, 4 that have expired on December 1st, 1 representing each of the following: the Downtown Merchants, Convention and Visitors Bureau, EDAB Council, and Arts and Humanities Council. Municipal Civil Service Board has 1 expiring term on November 29th, 2022, and the Homa Terrebonne Public Trust Finance Authority has 3 expiring terms, 1 on December 18th and 2 on December 26th. The Port Commission has 2 expiring terms on December 31st, each representing the parish president. The 911 Communications District has 4 expiring terms on December 31st, 2022, and Council District Number 1 has a vacancy due to the resignation of Dr. Naby. 7 monthly engineers reports, Milford and Associates and T. Baker Smith, as per by Mr. Dirk Gidry. Seconded Mr. John Amity. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? 8 staff's reports. A, resolution authorizing the parish president to enter into an appropriate agreement with Duplantis Design Group for architectural and engineering services for the design of the proposed Justice Complex and construction management services as needed if approved for FEMA, state, and other funding programs. And the Justice Complex is intended to serve the Terrebonne judges, the district attorney's office, the clerk of court, and various functions of the sheriff's office. Final agreement subject to approval by the legal department. Mr. Pulaski, did you want to?
Yeah, I just wanted to just mention that in the backup material, there's a draft of the contract, and that's taken from another contract that we had with the same consultant for design services. So we're in the process of amending and revising that contract, but I just put it in there as backup as an example. But that's not the final version. Final version will be subject to legal approval. So just wanted to bring that up.
Thanks, Mr. Pulaski. We have a motion by Mr. Dirk Gidry to approve the resolution, seconded by Mr. John Amity. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Resolution passes. Item B, resolution concurring with the parish administration to purchase 1 new and unused police pursuit vehicle from Southland Dodge. Moved by Mr. Michel, seconded Mr. Harding. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Resolution passes. Item C, introduce an ordinance to amend the 2022 adopted operating budget and 5-year capital outlay budget of the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for the following items and to provide for related matters. Animal shelter donations, $4,458. Homa Police Department, $9,089. Homa Police Department LCLE grants, $155,100. City Marshal, $1,381. A pump station, $7 million. D18 pump station, to be specific, $7,666,667. Elliott Jones pump station, $800,000. Sanitation, $70,000. Road Lighting District 10, $2,514, and calling for a public hearing on said matter on Wednesday, November 30th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. Moved by Mr. Michel, seconded Mr. Harding. Any discussion? Mr. Michel.
I just wanted to point out for anybody who might be paying attention, that big old $8 million pump station thing is the majority of that's coming from state capital outlay. Is that correct? And then we're just doing our match on that.
Ms. Malden?
So this 7.6, Mr. Michel, you're correct. This is actually all facility planning and control. In 2023's proposed budget that we're going over right now has our match.
Okay.
So the 7.6 is all state money.
Very good. Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposition? Ordinance is introduced. 2, announcements, Parish President. Mr. Toops, do you have anything for the Parish President? No, sir. Council members, we have Mr. Babin.
Yes, Ms. Malden, we've gotten a few more of our rec districts to send in their budgets for the year. We're still missing some. I hate to put you on the spot, but could you name the ones that aren't in?
The ones that we have received since Monday has been Rec 2-3, Rec 11, Rec 9, Rec 3A just told me that they should have it to me this week, and Rec 10 has told me it's in the mail.
Good. I want everybody to hear that, so we just need to get our rec districts. It just took a couple of telephone calls and they got the stuff in. This is nothing new. And the only other thing, it's not really an announcement, but I would like, and I'll put it on the agenda for next meeting if we can. I get calls every day on the Buquet Bridge in Dulac. It's the only bridge that we have out in Terrebonne Parish due to Ida. It's been a year and 3 months. People just want to know what's going on. I tell them we're waiting on FEMA. I understand the process, but if at the next meeting we could give a little bit more detail on some of the things that we're talking about possibly doing, and also an update, because everyone knows that once the money's available, it has to go out for design and construction. So we're looking at least 2 years after we get started, and we've already been a year and 3 months. So I'll have them put that, but just asking y'all right now, if you could have something for us at the next meeting, I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Mr. Dirk Gidry.
Yeah, I'd like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving next Thursday. Go out and be safe. And also at the Ward 7 in Chauvin, we're having a big dinner, so everybody's invited, no matter where you come from. Come out and enjoy some good homemade cooking. And also from solid waste, go out and put your trash out on the side of the road right now, all the major trash you have, because we're going to be making one big push from the 28th of November to the 3rd of December. So if you're tearing down a shed or whatever, before it costs you in your pocket, because it will cost you if you start tearing down structures and putting them to the road, you got one final chance to get this stuff picked up. So over the holidays, see what you can do and bring it to the road so we can get this parish cleaned up. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Dirk Gidry. And if you want to write this number down, 873-6739. 873-6739. That's the number to call if you want to make sure that, they know that your debris is on side the road for the Ida. So if you want to, be sure, call that 873-6739 number. Mr. Michel.
Thank you. And I want to just point out something that was brought up on the committee meetings, and that is the purchase of the old bank building, the old First National Bank building by the edge of the Funderburg Street Bridge that the parish is proposing to purchase. And it has a couple of reasons that they're proposing to purchase that. One is to be able to update that bridge and make it better and make it safer. The Funderburg Street Bridge that crosses by Terrebonne, and my understanding is they want to make it 3 lanes at some point. And I'm hoping that gets started sooner rather than later. But this purchase of that property is a good first step, as well as other purposes that it has. Secondly, I'd like to ask anybody who's able to please go out and donate blood. And finally, have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Mr. Michel. Mr. Harding.
Yes, I'd like to have it, everybody in their prayers for a great Thanksgiving. And I would like the people in Terrebonne Parish to be safe. There's a lot going on out there. If you see something, say something. It's very, very important that the quality of life in Terrebonne Parish is maintained at a high level. So if you see something, say something. And I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harding. And Mr. Michel, it was great having you at our meeting. I wish you well as you continue your battle, and know that we're thinking about you. So, seeing nothing else, do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn, Ms. Domity, seconded Ms. Domingue. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned. Have a good night.